A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
Now I request our immediate past President Toastmaster Latha to make the announcement. She has an announcement to make.
Good evening, one and all. Now, as you all know, I had sent an email regarding the nominations for the next executive committee for July 2026 to December 2026. And the good news is that the process has been completed, and I'll be announcing the names of the next executive committee members who have been selected and elected. Now, I would request you all to please hold your applause until the president has been announced, and then we all can give a thunderous round of applause to other elected members. Now, first comes, and I request the members, when I read out your names, please stand wherever you are seated. Associate Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Dharmendra. Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Deepa. Treasurer, Toastmaster Chethan. Associate Treasurer, Toastmaster Sai. Secretary, Toastmaster Aadhiswar. VPPR, Toastmaster Darshan. VPM, Toastmaster Jyothi. VPE, Toastmaster Shuba. Associate VPE, Toastmaster Chethan. And our president, who is going to be Toastmaster Shreya. And the process of electing the new members has been completed and all have been informed. And I would like our president to close it.
Now that we let's all show our.
Sorry.
That's okay, now you can come.
I can't, there's so much silence.
Let's all show our acceptance of the EC committee of July to December of 2026 with a thunderous round of applause. Congratulating every EC member and also wishing them all the very best for the next term. Now I request our VP to give us, Toastmaster Shreya to give us an update about the roll takers report for the upcoming week.
For the next meeting to be held on 29th of June, 3 speech slots have been booked, one by Toastmaster Shreedevi, one by Toastmaster Shreya, and one by Toastmaster Deepa. Rest of the roles are open, so if you're interested, do contact me. Thank you, and back to our president.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shreya. Now I request our acting sergeant, Toastmaster Jyothi, to take over.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
Back in the year 2003, I was then a participant of a workshop being held. We were 25 participants, and the facilitator just randomly asked, how do we begin the day? There was pin drop silence. Somewhere among the crowd, I blurted, dance. Then I was forced to come up in front of everyone, and I was forced to dance because I was the only person who said something. And I was among strangers. I had no choice. But I knew that dance was easy, just to move your hands and legs. So I started doing it. A group of other participants started singing, and thus the program started, breaking the barriers of inhibitions, hesitance, and it started with laughter where we all learned, we all were together in the workshop that we attended for 2 days. Dear Toastmasters, what stops us from taking a shot? Many of times we are hesitant or the fear of embarrassing ourselves or failing. We spend our time on judging ourselves, others, and the situation. It only takes a moment to take that one step. I strongly believe that while we all are aware of where we want to go or what we want to take up, then why stop ourselves? What will happen at the most? At the most, what will happen? We will fail. People will laugh at us, may laugh at us. So we also laugh at ourselves. A situation that taught us something, that whether it was good for us or we could do it something differently or it is not for us. person who never misses a chance to take up that one extra step, whether she is prepared or not. She is an enthusiastic person who involves herself, who participates and takes up that extra step. And today, she is our president of our club. She has completed her interior designing. She is a foodie but a very disciplined and dedicated person who takes up for her fitness and well-being by involving herself in yoga and other sports. Please put your hands together and welcome our President Toastmaster Apoorva.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jyothi. I see a guest in the room. Kindly stand up from rise up from wherever you are and tell a few lines about yourself and how you got to know that.
He's a member.
Yes.
He's the guest. It's coming for the sixth.
So second time I'm attending the class. So I'm Vijay. So I work in a CA firm as an internal auditor. I got to know about the firm. I got to know about the club through many of my faculties who have been here and part of Toastmasters, and I've always admired them. So I always wanted to become. I looked up to them. So that's what brought me.
Thank you. In our today's meeting. Now I request our secretary, Toastmaster Ujwal, to read out the minutes of meeting number 1372.
Namaste fellow Toastmasters. Here are the minutes of the meeting number 1372, held on the 15th of June 2026. The theme was independent yet interdependent. The word of the week was veracity. The business session started at 6:20 p.m. and was chaired by the presiding officer, Toastmaster Shreya, and there were no announcements made. Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Sakshi started the meeting with an introduction about the theme and later handed over the charge to presiding officer Toastmaster Shreya. The presiding officer opened the meeting, spoke on the theme and introduced the Master of Ceremonies, Toastmaster Shuba. The Master of Ceremonies spoke on the theme and introduced the following role takers for the day. Timer, Toastmaster Deepa. Our counter, Toastmaster Midhun TV Evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster A K Prabhakara. Grammarian, Toastmaster Sakshi. The following speakers delivered prepared speeches. Toastmaster Chakravarty M in the Presentation Mastery Level 1 Project 1 evaluated by Toastmaster Aparna. This was followed by an education session conducted by Toastmaster Radha on narrative intelligence, which was followed by the table topic session conducted by Toastmaster Darshan, in which the following speakers delivered table topics. Distinguished Toastmaster A K Prabhakara, Toastmaster Ajay, Distinguished Toastmaster M U Bhat, Toastmaster CA Rahul R. Gandhi, Toastmaster Veerabadrappa GS, Toastmaster Chethan, Toastmaster Madhu S. The general evaluation session was conducted by Toastmaster Shreedevi, and the winners of the week were Best Prepared Speaker, Toastmaster Chakravarty M, Best Evaluator, Toastmaster Ujwal NK, Best Role Taker, TAPG, Toastmaster Sakshi, Best Role Taker MTG, Toastmaster Shreedevi, Best Table Topic Speaker, Toastmaster Chethan. The President closed the meeting at 8:22 p.m. followed by the National Anthem. Thank you, and back to the President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ujwal. Are there any amendments proposed? If not, I accept MOM of meeting number 1372 and declare meeting number 1373 open. When was the last time that you were at the public, at the social gathering, and the MC called you on the stage and asked you to speak a few words on the stage? You wanted to go, but you hesitated because you thought you weren't fully prepared. When was the last time? An opportunity came your way, but you didn't take it up because you felt you were not confident to do it. When was the last time that a friend came up to you and said, "Hey buddy, would you want to join us for the trip?" Deep inside, you wanted to go. But for some reason, you said, "You know what, next time." We human beings have this tendency to always wait for the perfect moment. The perfect opportunity, the perfect kind of preparation, the perfect confidence. But the fact is, there is no perfect moment. All we have are situations where we have to step forward, act with courage, and just take the shot. It was November 2021, and I had a random phone call with my brother. He sounded extremely disappointed, and he was frustrated, irritated, and sad. I asked him, Vishesh, what happened? He said, I was supposed to go for this trek in Uttarakhand, right? I even applied for leave at work. But now that we have to book the tickets, all my friends backed out for one reason or the other. Me being the good supporting sister as I am, I suggested, why don't you ask this friend? Why don't you ask that friend? Why don't you ask this cousin of ours? He said, I have tried it all. Everybody seems to be busy or are not interested to come for the trek. I joked and I said, I'll do one thing, I'll join you for the trek. Problem solved. He instantly lit up. He was like, wow, that's a great idea. I was like, hello, chill. I was just joking. I have a 1-year-old at home. It's very difficult for me to get up. Honestly, I wanted to go that moment, but my mom's guilt stopped me from doing it. But he didn't let go. He was like, come on, you can do it. You have Baba and your and mom and dad to support you. I'm sure you can manage. It had been a very tough time for me, tough phase of my life. From the time in 2019 when my pregnancy was confirmed, I had a lot of nausea, vomiting, whatnot, and my doctor had asked me to not travel for more than 2 to 3 kilometers. Then came my delivery, motherhood. My life revolved only around my son, taking care of him, and various responsibilities. I had not done anything for myself for a very long time. But this time, I don't know, I pushed myself. I took the shot. I booked the tickets, and I finally went on the trek. This trip was not special just because I climbed up a mountain. This trip was special because I kind of rediscovered myself. In a very long time, this was the first time I did something for myself. I found that newfound confidence. Every time I trekked in that difficult stretch, I realized I had the stamina and the ability to push myself and complete it. Frankly, I thought I was very weak. I just delivered. I didn't have the strength. The plan was I will climb up until the height where I can and just rest in the tent. I never expected I would reach the summit. But I did reach the summit. And that moment where I sat down there and watched that beautiful sunrise, it was the most beautiful moment of my life. It was a moment filled with goosebumps and a moment where I rediscovered my confidence. So fellow Toastmasters, Mark Twain once said, 20 years from now, when you look back, you will be disappointed of the things that you didn't do than the things you did. I repeat, 20 years from now, when you look back, you'll be disappointed of the things you didn't do than the things you did. So don't just wait for the perfect moment, perfect timing, just follow your art. Step forward, act with courage, and just take the shot. To speak more on the theme, let me call upon someone who takes the shot every time an opportunity is thrown at him. He is someone who loves reading manga, and he is a fellow trekker who enjoys going for long runs and trekking. He is an engineer by graduation. He is currently working in mixed plate. With a thunderous round of applause, please welcome the Toastmaster of the day and the Associate BPM of our club, Toastmaster Madhu.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests.
Good evening.
Take the shot. When you hear the phrase take the shot, you might think of a sniper, a battlefield, a photographer, or maybe even a basketball shot. I think that's what our PR team thought today because that's the image they put in the poster for this meeting. Or maybe you might also think like my manager who asked me what I was doing for today's Toastmaster meeting, and I said I was emceeing, and he asked what's the theme. I said take the shot. He was like this. But none of these are the shots that I'm talking about. The inspiration for this theme came from football. So let me tell you a short story. It's the summer of 2016. The UEFA Euro football tournament is taking place in France. Portugal and Poland are locked in a grueling quarterfinals, and after 120 minutes of action, the score is tied 1-1. So, what happens now? Penalties, of course. Now, the Portuguese team was all huddled up, deciding who would be the players taking the shots, what would be the order, and where they would be shooting, which side of the net. But there was this one particular Portuguese midfielder who was feeling the pressure. He was nervous, scared, and he even shied away from taking the responsibility of a penalty kick. Now, this wasn't any inexperienced youngster. This player was João Moutinho, one of the country's best players who had over 100 plus caps for his country. But as they say, pressure is a funny thing because it affects even the most experienced people at times. Now, seeing his teammate hesitate, the Portuguese captain, Cristiano Ronaldo, the best player in the world in that time, he came up to him. He was like, hey, what are you doing? Take it, you strike it well. If we lose, we lose, but take the shot. Now, I don't know if Moutinho felt inspired and pumped up, or rather he dragged himself forward very reluctantly, but he took the shot and he buried it. Top corner, it was in. Now, the next moment, the Polish player came about. He missed his penalty. So eventually, Portugal won the shootout, and after a couple of days, Portugal would go on to win the final against the hosts France in what was a major upset at that time. And thus they won their country's first ever major football trophy. Now, what Moutinho faced at that moment is something we all face in our lives. Maybe not in a football stadium in front of 60-70,000 people, but in our very own lives. Whether it's asking out a boy or a girl you like, whether it's quitting your job and pursuing something that you always wanted to do. And like Toastmaster Apoorva said, whether it's taking up an opportunity that you don't quite feel ready for, or maybe even walking into a Toastmasters meeting for the very first time. Life has this funny thing where it presents us moments where you have to make a choice. Play it safe or take a shot. I remember this one particular time, I was enamored with this one girl, and I had met her at a wedding, my best friend's wedding of all places. The whole day all I could do was just think about this one girl. And when the day ended and we went our separate paths, all I could remember was being miserable because I didn't act upon whatever we were sharing at that moment. So I don't know what came over me. I reached out to that girl and I said, hey, I enjoyed speaking with you. Would you like to go out on a date with me? Now, in that moment, whether she said yes or no, I couldn't care less because I got this sense of satisfaction from having done something I had never ever done before. And even if she had said no, I would be fine with the decision because I had taken the shot. And luckily for me, the shot landed. She said yes, and even to this day, I'm glad I took it. So it's important that you take shots because sometimes it lands and sometimes it doesn't. And every once in a while, a single decision leads to something way bigger than we could have ever imagined it to have happened or become. And that's exactly what Ralph C. Smedley did. Back in 1924, he took a shot. He wanted to help people become better communicators and better leaders. So he started small with only a handful of people in the basement at the YMCA in Santa Ana, California. Now, this was a simple action, a small idea, but it was a shot. Now, this shot snowballed into what we today know as Toastmasters International. With more than 140 plus countries in this, more than thousands of clubs, more than hundreds and thousands of members, each of them helping one another to become better speakers, better leaders, and better versions of themselves. Even here at Mekong Communication Club, our founders took a shot and established the club way back in 1998. Now, today that decision stands as a testament as to what can happen when people choose action over hesitation. Because for nearly 3 decades, this club here has empowered countless speakers and leaders. So tonight, every speaker, every table topic response, every evaluation, and every leadership role in this room is all about taking a shot. Some will be perfect, some won't be, but at the end of the day, we will all walk out of here better than what we were yesterday. So, there's one saying that I really like. Do it scared, do it unsure, do it imperfectly, do it anyway. So, as we begin today's meeting, I encourage all of you in whatever it is that you're doing to remember Jean Moutinho's story, because that's what he did on that warm summer evening in France. He stepped forward, he trusted himself, and he took the shot. So with that, let's begin today's meetings. For the benefits of the guest, a typical Toastmasters meeting has 3 sections. The first is the prepared speech section, where the members come prepared in advance to deliver a speech. The second is the table topics section, where the table topics master will give topics randomly to members who have to come here on the stage, speak for a minute or two. And the final section is the general evaluation, which is conducted by the general evaluator, where we will reflect upon the proceedings of today's meeting. Now, taking the shot is important, but improvement comes from knowing where your shot landed. So, to help with that, we have a TAPG team, and these are the folks who are going to keep track of time, language, grammar, and the meeting's procedure, helping us understand what worked and where we can be better. So, let's meet the team that's going to be helping us improve today. And as I call out your name, please rise briefly and explain your role. First, we have our timer, which is Toastmaster Deepa.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, today I'll be timing all the speakers behind the lectern. Initially, to start with, for the speakers allotted time is 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I'll show green card. At 6 minutes, I'll show yellow card, and at 7 minutes, I'll show red card. And for evaluator, time allotted is 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll show green card. And at 2.30 seconds, I'll show yellow card, and at 3 minutes, I'll show red card. And for table topics, the allotted time is 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I'll show green card. At 1 minute 30 seconds, I'll show yellow card. And at 2 minutes, I'll show green card, red card. I'll give report during general evaluation. Bye.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepa. Next is our counter, Toastmaster Darshan.
Today I attended a training program, and my full concentration was on the trainer. So instead of focusing on the content, I was focusing on and his syllabus. He was a good trainer and the content was good, but he had so many R's, and filler words like what, so, like, you know, what do you say, you know, which made his speech sound less powerful. So to avoid that, I will keep a track of all your filler words and I will give my report at the end of the meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster Darshan. Next, our Parliamentary Procedure Evaluator, DTM M U Bhat.
Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. For any formal meeting to be effective and running smoothly, certain business meeting etiquettes have been followed. Toastmasters meetings are formal meetings, and we follow essentially 4 guidelines. The first one is all your telephones have to be put in silent mode or preferably switched off. No one will talk about sex, politics, and religion related subjects. Entry and exit will be only during applause and not otherwise. And there will not be crosstalk or gossiping during the meeting as far as possible. I will monitor these things and submit my report during the general evaluation. Back to the school.
And finally, our grammarian, Toastmaster Aparna.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests. So, as a grammarian, I am going to keep a check on the language part. Language is essentially the way we express ourselves. So, how we express matters so much being a Toastmaster. So, today I will keep a check on the great usage, good usage, and not so good usage. And when I will be called upon, I will present my report. And I am also supposed to introduce the word of the week, which is vary. So, we all need to be wary about the language we use. The meaning of it is being cautious and alert to the possible dangers. A wise leader is wary of making decisions without sufficient information, and I can also use we need to be wary of our language, how productively or how effectively we use. And back at you.
Without further ado, let's start with the first section for today's meeting, which is the prepared speech section. We have 3 speakers for today. And now I request the evaluator of the first speaker, Toastmaster Shreedevi, to read out the project guidelines.
The purpose of this project is to practice applying feedback and to demonstrate their ability to deliver an effective, respectful speech. During the completion of this project, the member received feedback about their first speech, worked on to apply the feedback to a second speech. The member will deliver a well-organized speech on any topic and incorporate the feedback from the previous speech evaluation. The member may choose to present the same speech, a revision of their first evaluation and feedback speech, or a new speech. Time allotted 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to the speaker, and back to you.
Our first speaker today is an MBA graduate from IIM Jammu and works as the chief of staff in his family's coffee business, where he's passionate about serving the best coffee. He loves exploring food and culture and also playing badminton. So please welcome Toastmaster Ajay with the speech titled Balancing the Elephants. Balancing the Elephants, Toastmaster Ajay.
Deep in the jungles of Malegiri, the elephants marched. Nestled in the meanders of Kaveri, the elephants marched. Dozens of elephants, followed by the mahouts, are moving towards the Kaveri river. And splash! They are in the river. They are rejoicing as though they are teenagers on Holi. Wow, what a sight. Good evening, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Who all have been to the Dubare Elephant Camp? Lovely. So, if not, I have given you a trailer. Please do visit him soon. This is a usual day in the Dubare Elephant Camp. But unfortunately, we saw what the news was 1 month ago. This beautiful sight turned bloody when suddenly a fight broke out between 2 elephants, and Elephant Martanda came crashing upon an innocent tourist and her daughter. So 2 lives were lost that day. I began to wonder what caused the elephant to lose its figurative balance. And I went down the rabbit hole. What is Dubai Camp? Why are there so many elephants there? Are these elephants wild or are they tame? Is it a conservation project or is it a wildlife sanctuary? So many questions. And here's what I found. an interesting story. So the story of the elephant camps at Dubare go back millennia. Millennia ago, there was still a camp, there were still elephants. But the Mahouts were military technologists. They knew the trick to convert an elephant from the forest into a war machine. No wonder when Alexander the Great landed on the shores of the Indus, his foot soldiers wet themselves. They soiled what was already a fertile plain at the sight of the majestic 3-story high 5-ton weighing war machines. Wow. Centuries later, as the Industrial Revolution had begun, the military might of the elephant was not so relevant. But man, it was still an industrial might. Camps at Dubare still took an elephant from the wild and trained them to become a monster truck, a multi-utility monster truck. How do you think the British established such a wide network of railways? On the shoulders of the monster truck, which would go to the deepest jungle, fell the largest tree, work across the toughest terrains and bring the timber and the log required for the railway network. Literally, the elephants paved way for the British Raj. As time moved on, the forest shrunk and the largest land mammal on earth had but a few pockets to live in. Their numbers also dwindled to an endangered level. And the same elephants who laid down the tracks now laid down their lives on those tracks. Suddenly the script had flipped from us needing them to perhaps the elephants needing humans. And that's where Dubare comes in, with a singular focus of conservation today. They want to conserve the elephant population. But conservation requires money. Tourism pays money. It does seem like a good arrangement, right? But what a tourist wants is not what a conservationist wants. A tourist wants to be as close to the animal as possible. He wants to interact with it and take home a story worth his ticket price. Maybe a tourist would do what he does if he saw Virat Kohli on the street. Hey Hathi, jump marna, jump, hey Hathi. This is not what a conservationist wants. A conservationist wants distance. He wants the elephant to be an elephant in its natural habitat. But too little tourism, conservation loses its funding. And too much tourism, conservation suffers. And evidently so. In the news, what followed was that elephant Martanda had injuries which finally led to the death of the elephant. Anyways, Dubare bounced back. They brought in a regulation which said the tourists can only come up to 20 meters from the elephants. And that is actually what is most fascinating about the Dubare elephant camp. It is a constant negotiation between nature and humans, between economics and ecology. Not because the elephants need us or we need the elephants, but somehow the future of both the elephants and humans are now tied together. So every day in Dubare, the elephants continue to march on, tourists continue to flock the banks of the Kaveri, and somewhere in this beautiful scene lies hidden the balance of Dubare, the balance of elephants. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ajay. And now, going to our second speech of the day, I request the evaluator for the second speaker, Toastmaster Ujwal, to read out the project guidelines.
Thank you. Namaste, fellow Toastmasters. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn about different communication styles and identify his or her primary style. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share the impact of his or her styles on others. The speech must be a well organized and a well delivered speech about some aspects of communication styles, and the speaker may choose to speak about his or her own communication style. It may be humorous, informational, or any other style the member chooses, but it should not be a report on the content of understanding your communication style project itself. With that, I wish the member all the very best, and back to the Master of Ceremonies.
Our second speaker today hails from Calicut. He is an orthopedic physical therapist currently working in Bangalore. He has degrees in Doctor of Physical Therapy from the University of Montana, USA, credentialing certification in Mechanical Diagnosis and Therapy, McKenzie Institute International from New Zealand, and he is also a karate instructor under the Saibukan lineage and is passionate about teaching the art and discipline of karate to his students. Fun fact, I also go to him for my physio and he's awesome. So please welcome Toastmaster Midhun with the speech titled Understanding My Communication Style. Understanding My Communication Style, Toastmaster Midhun.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guest. Have you met someone who always start a conversation?
Yes.
Yes. Many people wait for others to start a conversation. I am usually the one who always start a conversation. When a patient comes to my clinic or a parent brings his child to my karate class, I usually start conversation to make them comfortable. As a physio, I meet many type of people every day. Some come with pain, some come with fear, some come with anxiety. So, understanding my style of conversation helped me to understand better. Today, I would like to share a couple of stories happened in my clinic that make me understand my style of conversation. One day, one patient came to my clinic with a lot of back pain radiating to his leg. He was so confused and he was in a reluctant mode to speak. I made him comfortable, sit in a chair, and I started the conversation asking, how are you feeling today? How is your pain affecting your daily life? How it is actually affecting your work life? Within a minute, he became so relaxed and he started giving details about his condition. So that time I have realized that one thing which I really do in all conversation, I make the people comfortable and I start a style of conversation. That is initiating. So I understood that that is my strength. But it doesn't work always. I remember another patient who had come to me. His name is Rajesh. He was a marathon runner. He came to my clinic. As usual, I started my style of conversation. I wanted to make him comfortable. I asked about the details. So he started telling how he started his marathon run and what is his future plan, how he got into the marathon, what is the training he generally do for the marathon, and he went on talking about it in detail. Then I suddenly realized that we are shifting away from the actual problem. So I suddenly changed my style and then I switched my conversation style and then asked him, how did you get this injury? Suddenly, he told me that during a marathon run, I twisted my leg and then got injured. So my leg is paining and even ankle is also sprained. So I am feeling difficult to run. So that direct question helped me to understand the problem. There were other patients waiting in the line. If I continued to talk to him, I would have missed the complete patients to meet on time. So that direct question helped me to understand more the problem and then finish the consultation on time. There was another situation where an auto driver came to my clinic and his wife and him was feeling very crying. He came to me with crying mode. Then I asked him what happened. So he said that I've been having back pain running down to my leg. I'm having tingling sensation, numbness, all those things in my leg. It's been 2-3 weeks. I'm not able to ride my auto rickshaw. I'm not able to go for job. And his wife was even more worried about the situation. And he said, I went to a couple of orthopedicians and then also undergone MRI scanning. And the doctors told me that I have to undergo surgery. Without that, I will not be able to work. So I've told him, I looked at the MRI and told him that you don't need to worry. We can do this thing without a surgery. I could immediately feel that his wife was so relaxed and he became so relaxed. So the communication is not just about giving a lot of information. It's about giving confidence and trust. That conversation helped me to understand that. I remember another time, one young college going student came to my clinic. He was having cervical pain and radiating to the hand. Same thing happened that he told me that he used to go for the exercise regularly. So his pain is due to the exercise is what he thought, and he said, then I have to do a detailed assessment to understand his problem, and then I found out that the pain is happening due to his poor posture at the desk. He was slouching and sitting all the day, so he was getting pain due to that. So I understood that the analytical thing which I've done has made me understand the problem. So that is also one of the style of conversation. And another time, one patient came to my clinic. Again, same thing, like back pain, which I generally treat. No? So the patient told me that again severe pain. Then I as usual, I started asking questions about his condition, and I went on asking what are the details of the condition. Suddenly he made me stop, say, "Doctor, could you please listen to me?" That time I understood that I was kept on talking, asking questions. I forgot to give him space for him to convey his problem. So, among all this incident, I understood that a conversation is not about just one style. Sometimes it need to be direct, sometimes it need to be initiating, sometimes it need to be analytical, sometimes it need to be supportive. Among all this conversation style, my style of conversation is initiating. Understanding my style of conversation helped me to understand myself better. When you start conversation, you can build connection. When you listen, you can build trust. So you need to be very flexible in speaking. Sometimes you need to be direct. Sometimes you need to be initiating. Sometimes you need to be supportive. Sometimes you need to be analytical. So if you if any line, if I wanted to leave it with you today, it is this. Uh, Initiating conversation helps you to connect with the people, and listening builds trust. And if a great speech happens when you know which style of speech to be used at the right time. With this, I'm handing over to Toastmasters.
Thank you, Toastmaster Midhun. Let's go to our last speech for the day. I request the evaluator of the third speaker, Toastmaster Shreya, to read out the project guidelines.
Purpose statement. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice developing a plan and bringing that plan to fruition. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of planning and implementing his or her small-scale project. Notes for the evaluator. The member completing this project has spent time developing and implementing a plan for a small-scale project. About this speech, the member will deliver a well-organized speech about some aspect of his or her experience. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. The speech should not be a report on the content or the planning and implementing project. All the best to the speaker and back to the master ceremonies.
Our last speaker today is the current VP membership of the club. With a degree in social sciences and a master's in visual communication, she's currently working as a graphics designer and social alpha. Apart from this, she's passionate about art, loves doodling, trekking, and being amidst nature. She also recently did a nice Himalayan trek from what I heard from her. So, please welcome Toastmaster Shuba with the speech titled The Power of Preparation. The Power of Preparation, Toastmaster Shuba.
Going on local treks in and around Bangalore is always light and breezy. You leave home at 5:45 a.m., pick up some fruits, have breakfast on the way. Even if you start trekking by 8:30 a.m., you'll be on top by 11:30, enjoy, sink in the sceneries, and by the time you descend down, it's almost time for lunch. And you can have lunch on the way back and you still have the rest of the day for yourself. But a Himalayan trek is a different level altogether. Multiple days, steeper risks, literally, and all at the mercy of the ever-changing mountain weather. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests present. After years of thinking that going on a Himalayan trek would be very nice and not ever planning it out, I was not going to let this year go. And I was going to keep it as a self-goal to bring this project of bringing to fruition, going to the Himalayas finally. My objectives were clear. I wanted to enjoy untouched nature at a larger scale. I wanted to challenge myself and go for a moderate level trek. I wanted it to be, I wanted to go with an organization that is safe and trusted because that was a priority. And if there was some myth or lore attached to it, that would also interest me. So keeping all of this in mind, I zeroed in on Har Ki Dun in Uttarakhand. Next, now that the goal was fixed, I had to actually book it, and that involved costs. The trekking cost involved the trek for 7 days, insurance, and also transport, the pickup from Dehradun to the base camp and back. Now, since I didn't want to compromise on transport, especially in remote areas where there's no network, I went ahead and gave them my money. Then came flight tickets. These are the two major cost items, right? And since the organization recommended arriving a day earlier and leaving a day later in case of any delays, that became
the framework of the dates that I would book the tickets. And also I booked it immediately and in incognito mode so that it doesn't become more expensive. Now that that framework was set, I had, and this was all a month and a half in advance. So now that the outline was set and the stay also was close to the area of where the pickup would be, so that narrowed down options and also fast-paced the decision on where to stay around that area. So now that this framework was set, the next step I had to do was actual preparation in 3 important areas. The first was physical preparation. You are as good as your physical strength in the mountains. And the eligibility also for this trek was running 5 kilometers in 45 minutes. It sounds easy, but having no prior running experience, I had to start getting into a routine, which was a mix of exercises, push-ups, squats, planks, as well as running, right? So I started off with a 2-minute jog with a 1-minute walk interval and then built it up. And I then eventually, after 2.5 weeks, I picked up pace, and the successive 3 weeks after that, I could complete 5 kilometers within the time. And the organization also asked for screenshots of proof, which I successfully uploaded. And I also, since I opted for offloading, which meant that I would carry my own stuff, that also meant I had to strengthen my shoulders and arms. Although I saved cost there, I had to prepare my body for that. So I ended up borrowing dumbbells from a friend and did arm exercises. And in higher altitudes, you have just your lungs to trust. So I also incorporated breathing exercises. So these were the physical preparations that I did. Next came the trekking gear preparation. This was also a big budget item, since just one trip to Decathlon told me that prices for shoes, trekking poles, 55-liter backpack was a huge investment. And although it could be long term, I didn't know how many treks I would go on in a year, since this was just my first one. So I borrowed a lot of stuff from my brother who had gone on treks before, and there was also the beautiful option of renting gear. So I ended up renting shoes, trekking poles, the backpack and a padded jacket, and it all came up to just 2,000 rupees. So I saved a lot in this, and and then came the third most important preparation that I did, which was mental preparation. Now, knowing the scale and the high altitude of the mountains, 8,000 feet, 11,600 feet, even the most experienced trekkers can be hit with altitude sickness. So one thing that I told myself from the beginning was to never underestimate the mountains. It could be day 3 of the trek or day 7 of the trek, and one sprain, one small fall, injury meant that I would delay the group, and maybe it was time to head back to the base camp by myself. And this was something I told myself from the beginning, that the summit is just a part of it. Bad weather can do so many things, so it's all about the experience. So after all of this preparation, after I returned, looking back after successfully completing this trek, I saw that the rented shoes served me comfortably well, because they had been broken in by several trekkers before me, and I had 0 shoe bites. The medicine I had carried for motion sickness that I didn't actually need helped a fellow trekker for her motion sickness. With all of this in my backpack, right? My medicine kit was my hospital, my backpack was my storage, and just a small pouch for personal hygiene. I didn't have to worry about anything but where I would keep the next step. Planning sets the foundation to bring a goal to fruition and also gives room for possible changes. And I would like to tell all of you to start actualizing your goals by planning them, because everything can go wonderfully right if you're prepared for anything.
Now let's move on to the next part of the meeting, the ever exciting table topic session. So today's table topic master is taking up this role as a part of her project, so I request her evaluator, Toastmaster Latha, to read out the project guidelines.
Good evening, one and all. The purpose statement is, the purpose of this project is for the member to demonstrate their ability to listen to what others say. Notes for the evaluator, that's me. The member completing this project is practicing active listening at your club meeting today. They are leading table topics. What do I listen for? A well-run table topic session. As topics master, the member should make short affirming statements after each speaker completes an impromptu speech indicating they heard and understood each speaker. For example, the member must say, "Thank you, Toastmaster Smith, for your comments on visiting the beach. It sounds like you really appreciate how much your dog loves to play in the water." The goal is for the member to clearly show that they listened and can use some of the active listening skills discussed in the project. The member completing the project is the only person who needs to show active listening. The member should not try to teach or have others demonstrate active listening skills. The member should follow all established protocols for a table topic session. All the best to my target speaker, Toastmaster Sakshi.
Let me introduce you to today's table topics master. She is working as the learning and development head for Allen South India. She is an explorer at heart and likes to travel, play guitar, create mandala art, binge watch and meet new people and learn from their stories. So please welcome your table topics master for today, Toastmaster Sakshi.
Good evening, everyone. So, are you all ready to take a shot?
Yes.
With that, let's quickly dive into the session as we all know the rules of table topics. With that, the first topic for today is shopping is cardio, which goes to Toastmaster Jyothi.
Shopping is cardio because many a time I forget where I park my two-wheeler. I have to go back and forth looking out for my bike, and at the same time I'm so anxious whether I have to go to the police station assuming that someone has taken away my bike. So, shopping is a cardio like in many aspects. If you go to the mall, it's like more of a walking there than buying. We hardly buy things from there. Maybe I think it is like to give it a twist. When we do cardio, there is a heart rate which beats faster, and maybe shopping is also similar. When we start paying the bill, the heart rate starts faster, up and down, and when we are doing cardio, like the mind says we need to do more. And maybe that is what happens when we go for shopping. one is not enough, we need to shop more. And by the time we come back after the shopping, it is similar to that of a cardio exercise where we are tired, we need water and food to calm ourselves. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jyothi. I agree that shopping is cardio for the person who is paying the bill. With that, coming to the next topic for today is adults are just children with bills. Adults are just children with bills, which goes to DTM M U Bhat. Adults are just children with bills.
Bills, sir.
Bills.
Madam Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Sorry for asking you to repeat. Fault is not yours. I had picked up my hearing aid just to get some experience, how it feels. Yeah. So the question is, adults are children without bills. With bills. Okay. No, because the question can be answered both ways. To tell you frankly, because I am a married person, I have got 2 children, so I always felt that children are like adults with bills. But she says I have to define adults as children with bills. Actually, this works in a different way. The issue here is the children think that the money comes from treetops. They don't know where they want to go to the best. Nowadays it's exactly all these malls and multiplexes and fast food joints and everything. If you order a pizza, nothing less than 200, 300 bucks, and they don't know where the money. They think that if you ask me that, he will give it. So that adults are not. The adults are with bills, but the bills of the children. All they're asking us to pay for it, and it is for the parents to decide how to make up that bill at all. The making both ends meet is the biggest issue a parent feels, particularly in today's world, where there is a lot of peer pressure among the children to see that, because they see somebody else doing it. They don't know that whether their parents can afford it or not. But they will, as a matter of fact, they'll say that no, it's my right, I'll go. No, what is there? It only costs 500 bucks. He doesn't know how much the parent had to struggle to get that 500 bucks. So this is the problem. So I would personally believe, not as what our table talk master said, I would believe that it is the adult is full of bills raised by the children today, and that is our fate, and we have to live with it in that way.
That's what a married person usually feels. With that, my next topic is I love marriages. And it goes to Toastmasters Chakravarty.
I love marriages. Because I love exploring places. So whenever my friend call me for marriages, or whenever I get to know there is a marriage, so I just go to experience the place, to experience their culture, tradition, everything. So I've attended many marriages. So the one experience what I want to share is, so one of my friend who studied till 10th standard. So she called me and told that I'm getting married and you have to come. And the place called, it's one of the village which I have never went to that place. So I said okay, I'll come. And somehow I googled the place and I managed to travel till the town, but going to the village, that too I started my travel late in the evening. So in their village, so I can't even ask her because she will be in the since she is the person going to get married, she will be somewhere engaged. And in fact, I've given ring and she couldn't pick. So there was the, best experience, I say. So there is no bus. What I came to know after reaching the town to that village. So I started walking. Yeah, and on the way, I had an opportunity to meet people, and they were asking in the villages and all, they used to ask, so who are you, where you are going, and all those things. So they asked me. So I explained about the marriage, and fortunately, they supported, taking me till the marriage room. So with that, I learned there are so many good people around us, and all this are, making us experience. The marriage is also making us experience. Thank you, Ajay.
While we all love marriages, but the difference is there. He loves the way of, because it was his friend's marriage. It was not his marriage. So coming to our next topic, procrastination improves creativity. Procrastination improves creativity, which goes to Toastmaster Malegiri.
Good evening, everybody. Procrastination improves productivity. There is a saying that one who does a daydreaming is the most efficient and productive person. Actually, it is based on the scientific citations that we have to do a daydreaming, and that's how we embark on a path where our vision is set towards the destination. Daydreaming is, of course, it can be many aspects, but one beautiful aspect is that when you do a daydreaming, you will kind of experience all the fantasies and all the interesting things that one can do. Probably he might not have done it, but that sets the brain into a motion, and that will give us a lot of fillip in doing many things. That is what we usually learn from this aspect. And procrastination, of course, the way it is basically not about not doing what you are expected to do. It is about that imposter syndrome, wherein we say that, what if I do like this? What if people judge me if I do like this? How they will come to know what things I am doing? So these are some of the things which probably might tell us not to do things. But going forward in the way we see things, I think a little bit of procrastination is required. I mean, I'm not saying it is entirely required, but the studies have shown that some kind of a procrastination is required for one to be a bit productive. It is an interesting, but yeah, this is one of the little facts about this activity. With that, I
Procrastination is reducing the expectation or not doing the things what others are expected to do. With that, we reduce the expectation, and if we reduce the expectation, we are already, achieving the bar which they are expecting. So if the expectations are already less, if we do this much also, they will be like, oh, this person has done this much. The next topic is food tastes better when it is free. Food tastes better when it is free, which goes to Toastmaster Aadhiswar.
Madhu, debate topic master, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. food tastes good when it's free. Yeah, that's the one reason I love marriages. Who would suffer 1 hour in traffic from Jainagar to Palace grounds just to go see those groom and bride whom I don't even know? Oh, you're getting married, wow, one exchange of garlands. No, not really. I'm going to the free food there, I just make up, okay, my mind during the traffic, okay, what and all I can get there. And what should I have and in which order should I have that food? And free, that's the main, or else why do you think my generation people will go there? We don't know people, we don't like talking to people we don't know. And so we're like, okay, let's just be in our comfort, but we're getting food somewhere. So getting something, then yeah, we can go, right? And not only there, right? Like even you just see any school friends, college friends, any friend asks you for something and he says, and he asks you for some favor, and like, no, and then he's like, I'll treat you. And then your mind changes. Okay, you're treating me where? Then second question. Like, okay, I'll treat you in a good place. And you're like, okay, I'll do that work. That's it. But yeah, just free food tastes good, but not always, Yeah, that's my take.
Even I do attend marriages for food. The next topic is gossiping is good for health. And it goes to A K Prabhakara. DTM A K.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome. Gossiping is good for health. I agree with you. What happens in society is driven through the process of gossiping. Today it's in social media, but essentially it is gossiping. It sets standards. If you go and ask why, for example, Bangalore, the ambience of education, and finally so much of knowledge city coming up in this area in time. You have Vijaya College here, National College here, BMS there, and UVC there. All are driven by mothers who gossip. My mother was master at gossip, and my mother's friends were also gossip masters. All they do is that they knew Pentium 1 has come, Pentium 2 when it will come. They don't know what is Pentium, but they will ask, my son is computer, your son is computer. They will not say he's studying computer, but computer. So they will always compare. Did you they would say that he is conversing. He uses a wrong word or a bad word, not appropriate. My mother would catch and say that kid, son is his friend. I talked to his mother, he is not using that kind of language. You too must be with somebody else who doesn't use proper language. You are not a right company. It's this kind of thing. If you go to a marriage in any Indian situation, the mothers will be gossiping to find out who is eligible, and for marriage, the girl or the boy, they will be doing the matchmaking. It is all societies are driven through this gossip. Without gossip, the society collapses. So it is healthy and it keeps society moving and evolving. That is being the essence of evolutionary psychology. Over to table topic, master.
Even I could recall my mother speaking the terms like the DTM A K Prabhakara said that YouTube, computer, this. So with that, moving to our next topic. Relatives ask the best question. And it goes to Toastmaster Darshan.
Last week, my grandmother visited our native place. There she was attending some Gೃಹ Pravesha function, housewarming ceremony. Her own sister, instead of speaking about all those things which are happening in our village and with their relatives, she spoke about, hey Darshan, some girl is there, does she want to get married? Just speak with me. I just finished my engineering, I should still look for a job, build my career. And my grandmother came back home and she is telling me, hey, get married. She was asking like that, you need to get married, everyone are getting married. The best decisions which I make come from the opinions which my relatives say. For example, if they say something, I just need to do the opposite. They say you need to do this job, you need to choose this career. The best thing is not to do. They say eat this, eat that, eat sugar, eat fruits. Sorry, not fruits. Eat junk. The best thing to do is not to eat junk. But there are also few people who truly believe in us, who truly motivate us. And sometimes it is good to follow their advices as well. Because they are educated, they come from better families, they don't live in 90s or 2000s. So listen to your relatives. Sometimes doing the opposite is the best, sometimes following their advice is the best. It's left to you. Back to you, David.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aadhiswar, Toastmaster Darshan, to explain that always do opposite of what relatives say. The next topic is just 5 minutes more, and it goes to Toastmaster Veerabadrappa.
My topic is just 5 minutes more. Why 5 minutes? I want more also. Not 5 minutes, I want more. It makes me to think deeply what I should say about this incident. I saw my doctor wife. She came to my house. I wanted to pronounce my judgment. I wanted to marry. But there was no guts for me to tell about it. Now I have a lot of guts. At the time I never had a guts to tell her I am willing to marry. She was also willing to tell me. She told her, I want 5 minutes to speak with you. I never heard of it, but moreover I am a little bit worried about what she says. If she says no means I will not get sleep for 1 month. So just I avoided when she asked about 5 minutes. She went to her native place, Tirunelveli. There I was not knowing language problem, culture problem, every problem was there. Just I thought I would have given her 5 minutes 5 minutes time to her and listened her, and she might have agreed to marry me. So I kept quiet because I was not knowing anything. I was sitting in a factory. One of my friends came and said, so there is a letter from your from Dr. Delhi. Her name is Delhi. I opened it. I saw it. I asked you 5 minutes. Why you never gave it? So I felt very sad because I would have given that 5 minutes time to listen her opinion and other things. And finally she ended up the letter, if you don't marry me, I am going to commit suicide. So my dear friends, just listen. Give a time when they ask, give a time. That may give you a happiest moment for you in your time. 5 minutes is the one, this thing. Particularly when you are writing an exam, you always feel 5 minutes more is required. So this is an incident, more so when you are seeing a girl for marriage, when they ask 5 minutes, don't say no.
5 minutes improves, this might get you a girl. So with that, the last topic is trust me. Trust me, and it goes to Toastmaster Aparna.
Toastmasters and dear guests, trust me. Trust is a very fragile thing. I don't think we place trust very easily. So I don't know whether if I say something you should trust me. Because I would not, definitely. But with the experience of my life, I can definitely say one should definitely trust themselves. Build that character, build that personality that you trust yourself. We always seek answers outside. If I have a question, I would think, okay, I will check with 2 people, 3 people to find the answer. Instead of trusting myself, I think they are a better judge and decide for me. But with my experience, I think it's not the others. If you can trust yourself and take that decision, you will rather feel proud of yourself. You will take the ownership of what the result outcome of it has come, and also that will build your inner confidence with that.
You trust Toastmaster Aparna or not, but you should always trust yourself. And the last topic is, because my project is active listening, so I listened to one topic in one of the speeches and which I liked the most. Never underestimate the mountains. And it goes to Toastmaster Deepa.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, never estimate the mountains. Underestimate.
Okay.
I should talk about. So, I mean, when we see people, right? When we see a lot of people, when we meet a lot of people, we should not underestimate anybody, right? So, as a person, I see a lot of people. I meet every day different people. And first thing is, I speak over the phone, and I imagine one personality over the phone. And probably, maybe because of so many reasons, they would have spoken me. Maybe that night their wife, they might had a fight or something. So you might be in a wrong mood. Whenever I call, sir, can we meet up? Then he might say, no, I'm in other things. I cannot meet you. Maybe that perception of that person, maybe I got wrong, right? So I would have underestimated him. And when I actually go and meet that person, he might be treating well. Maybe that was a good mood, and the perception of that person might change. So maybe what I wanted to say is never estimate or never underestimate anyone. So everybody have that special skill, or everybody have that special things. So we should learn. Back to you.
Before this session, Toastmaster Deepa told me, please don't give me a topic. She underestimated me. With that, I give the charge back to the MC.
That was a great session. Got me all excited about marriage food because I also go just for the food. With that, let's take a quick 10 minutes break because we have some food outside. Welcome back, everyone. I hope the break was a good one.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. So let's move on to the last part of today's meeting, which is the general evaluation session. And to help us with this, let's welcome the general evaluator for today's meeting. He's a full stack software developer. He likes reading books and playing strategy games. So please welcome the general evaluator for today, Toastmaster Chethan.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, there's something called speedrunning in the world of games, where you take a game and you try to finish it as quickly as possible. The world record for Pokemon Sapphire is currently slightly under 2 minutes, 2 hours. If you play the game by yourself, it should probably take you about 12 to 15 hours on a reasonable day. So what they try to do in 12 to 15 hours, these folks have condensed to 2 hours without any glitches. Today we're going to attempt the same with the general evaluation. Get ready. Started with our Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Jyothi. Lovely introduction. I loved your story. Very clean, cut and dry. I heard great feedback about the snacks as well. So well done on the associate job today. Up next, we had our Secretary Toastmaster Ujwal. Can we give him a round of applause for how well dressed he is? Week on week, he comes, he reads well, but one thing worth noticing is how well dressed he is. And I think it really catches all our attention. Worth noting, you read everything promptly and well, so no feedback on that side. Up next, we had our president, Toastmaster Apoorva. I really liked your story itself. The entire story about the mom guilt, I wish you had dwelled on that a bit further, because not everyone knows that feeling of mom guilt. I know because my wife has told me what this is, but most people will not know what that feeling is. What do they feel when you say mom guilt? What does that even mean? I wish you had dwelled upon that further and raised the stakes a bit higher. That could have made all the difference to your speech. Secondly, the introduction was a bit weak, I felt. I don't want to say it was ChatGPT generated, but it definitely felt along that angle. Like, compared to the rest of the speech itself, it felt like a much weaker introduction. Anyways, a round of applause to our president for a wonderful speech. Now, before we get into the TAPG roles and MC, etc., let's dive into the speech evaluations for today. Our first speech was a level 1 project 4 from Dynamic Leadership by Toastmaster Ajay. This was this part 2 where he had to incorporate feedback from the previous speech and give it this time. This will be evaluated by Toastmaster Shreedevi.
Mr. Toastmaster Ajay in particular. I'm sure the audience will agree with me that today's speech was not just a speech but a wholesome performance delivered by Toastmaster Ajay, and for that he deserves a thunderous round of applause. It's rare to see a delivery like this resembling a magnum opus, a culmination of your experience at Dubari. Right from the entrance, the loud thumping noise that grabbed all of our attention, resembling the entrance of elephants, and great use of vocal variety. And also, what took your speech to an entirely new level is the vivid imagery that you used. Nestled in the meanders of Kaveri, converting elephants to war machines, metaphors, monster truck, war machines used for elephants really added value to our imagination. You have a great command over English language, and that reflected through your speech. The ultimate dilemma between tourism and conservatism came through your speech, and you implemented the key feedback that your previous evaluator had given, that is working on your entrance and your pace. Both of it was considered. Your entrance was something that is so memorable and will stay in everybody's mind, the thumping of the feet, and also you evenly paced out the speech beautifully. If I had to suggest something for you to take the speech to the next level, is giving your audience some time to absorb the emotional moments. For example, you talked about a very sad scene where Marthanda succumbed to injuries and passed, and you immediately jumped to how Dubare bounced back with new rules to maintain distance. Maybe a little pause so that everybody can absorb something so emotional that happened, a passing away of somebody that you spoke your whole speech about, would make difference to the speech. But that does not take away from how iconic the speech was. Your delivery was memorable, your diction was inspiring, and your stage presence was path-breaking. Looking forward to more speeches from you. Good luck, and back to the...
What a superb evaluation by Toastmaster Shreedevi. She gave us everything worthwhile in the speech, highlighted everything that went really well, and gave a small bit of feedback that he could take. Now, I would like to add to what she said. I felt like Ajay gave some really powerful dialogues, and those were delivered with the right power and intent. And that really makes a big difference. The second thing, one bit of feedback that could really help you is that when you come here, I wish you were dressed a bit better. It's very easy to dismiss you simply because of the way you were dressed. And I think that can really, that first impression can work against you, maybe in the next, going in the future. Anyways, a round of applause for the speaker and the evaluator. Our second speech was a level 2 project 1 from presentation mastery, understanding my communication style. This will be evaluated by Toastmaster Ujwal.
Talking about something that is your profession, that is your life, told us about the vivid imagination that you painted for us. With back pain, knee pain, your gestures were the first and the most important thing that held my attention towards your speech. Namaste fellow Toastmasters and my target speaker. Here are a few things that I see you have improved from your previous speeches. The first thing being your eye contact. You did not look down to your speech or your script that often as earlier. And second, you were focusing rather on the audience, giving them eye contact, telling them, hey, look at me, I'm delivering something that might change the way you perceive things. The second thing is at the end, you summarized what you were trying to convey, which helped and in which you have improved from your previous speeches. Here are a few things that I think worked really well. You started off with an audience interaction. In that, you had the hook, where you caught our attention. The second thing that worked really well, as mentioned earlier, was your vivid gestures that told us that you were a medical practitioner just by the utilization of your gestures. A few things that I feel that you can work upon to take your speech to the next level would be vivid narration. Rather than saying, him, Rajesh, approached me. Could it have been portrayed like this? Rajesh walked towards me. And in the room where we sat, he approached me telling, I have back pain. I don't know what to do. And you on the other side could have replied, what happened? How did this happen? And that would have painted a much more vivid picture for us to see, where you could have used your entire stage, you could have used your body, and most important, active voice. Because you are not narrating an incident that happened, you're helping us relive something that happened by speaking as Rajesh and as you, not something of an incident that previously happened and you're summarizing. The next thing is, when you pose a question to the audience, in case they don't respond, prompt for a response. Do you think that really happened? If the audience don't respond, then I think so. What about you? Would prompt the audience to respond to you, thus putting in more of the hook and giving the audience a chance to interact with you, thus building a rapport. The third thing was, you had too many stories from what I felt. You had that of a marathon runner, you had that of the auto driver, you had two other incidents. I feel you could have condensed that into just two incidents. One from the marathon runner, where you implemented two different kinds of communication style. One was the initiative which did not work, and then you switched to the direct. And similarly, the second one could have been that of the last person, which was the auto driver. With that, I feel you could have completed the entire gist of what you wanted to communicate in just two stories, rather than pulling it along and along with four different stories. In summary, you have improved upon your eye contact with the audience and your summary, and what really stood out was your utilization of gestures and the hook with the audience interaction. The things that you can work upon would be your vivid narration using the stage, your body language and active voice, and cut shorting on the number of stories required to communicate, and finally prompting the audience for a response. With that, I wish you all the very best for your future speeches, and back to our general evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ujwal, for that feedback. I have to agree with what Toastmaster Ujwal had to say. And to Toastmaster Midhun, I would like to give you one bit of feedback in addition to this. I feel like you use your pauses very questionably. It really detracts from the speech itself. Pausing at the wrong point really makes it difficult to follow along. I think if you see the recording, you will understand exactly what I mean. With that, I would like to give a little bit of appreciation to Toastmaster Ujwal. Did you notice the way he read out the project guidelines? It's like he has practiced this. Of course he has, we know that. But it's like he practiced it yesterday night, which makes all the difference. He cuts out the fluff that if you read any of these project guidelines, a lot of it is very unnecessary and we can choose not to say it. He reads it just loud enough for everyone in the room to get to know what's going on as well. So with that, a round of applause to the speaker and the evaluator. Our third speech by Toastmaster Shuba was a level 3 project 1 from leadership development, the power of preparation. Let's have her evaluation by Toastmaster Shreya.
Two things I learned from Toastmaster Shuba's speech today. One was never underestimate the mountains, and the second was never underestimate Toastmaster Shuba's planning skills. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, and specifically Toastmaster Shuba, you completely excelled at achieving the objectives of this project, which was to tell us about the entirety of you planning this project, from ideation to defining the objectives, budgeting, risk assessment, to setting a schedule, acquiring the materials, and finally executing it. You took us in a lot of detail through each and every stage of this process. And I think it was nice because you had touched upon this trek of yours in your MC last week. So it was nice for us to finally get the entire process of this trek from you today. Your pacing was good, I felt. You did exceed the time a bit. Maybe you could work on shortening your speech a little. And the level of your voice and your eye contact was very good. One thing that I would suggest is mindful use of gestures. You had a lot of flouncy gestures, which was very repeated throughout your speech, like this and like this. So a lot of which could have been replaced with something better or could have been omitted altogether, which would be less distracting for us to watch as an audience as well. And one more thing was the use of the stage. You were mostly centered and you could have used the stage while you were describing your 3 objectives or your 3 stages of preparation. And one more thing about the gestures, when you were telling us about your objectives, your gestures were here, like 1, 2, 3, but it could have been 1, 2, 3, which you did later when you were talking us through your stages of preparation. So keeping that consistency would have made all the difference as well. To challenge yourself, incorporate more vocal variety into your speech, especially giving emphasis on those important words. You started off with talking about how peaceful trekking in Bangalore is, but a Himalayan trek. So you kind of sped past that. It could have been, but a Himalayan trek, and then a pause. Similarly, when you said that quote, never underestimate the mountains, you could have paused after it. You could have said it a bit more slowly to leave that mark on us, right? And another thing, holding the audience's attention. It is easy to lose attention when the speech is something about a project and taking through different stages. It becomes a bit monotonous. Adding humor in the speech, maybe while you were preparing for the trek, doing the exercise, or maybe a small anecdote that happened on the trek. Maybe you forgot to bring something, or something like that happened, which brought our attention back in the end. So, to summarize, amazing planning of your trip, to improve mindful use of gestures and the stage, and to challenge yourself, incorporating more vocal variety and audience capturing mechanism, attention capturing mechanisms into your speech. With this, thank you and back to the gentleman.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shreya, for the lovely evaluation. This particular speech hits a very personal chord with me. I had a friend who I graduated with in 2016. He went to the mountains in 2017 to a trek in Sikkim, and he got altitude sickness on the trek, and he never made it back. So this particular bit of planning that she talked about today is vital in getting a trek right. Never underestimate the mountains. It makes all the difference. Anyways, it did strike a very deep chord with me. I just had to share this story. It's not really relevant to what's going on. But having said that, one bit of feedback for you, Toastmaster Shuba. The speech itself was very enjoyable. You spoke a lot about the budget that you were under, but you never told us what the budget was. Right? For example, you told us, I spent 2K on a bunch of shoes and renting a bunch of stuff. It would really help us understand what the comparison is. For a person who's been on the trekking side, they'll know it is a dirt cheap offer. But for those who don't know, they don't know whether it's 2K versus 4K or 2K versus 20K or 2K versus 2 lakh. You don't know. You don't know the spread. Could make all the difference. Anyways, with that, great job to the speaker, and with the evaluator, Toastmaster Shreya, I have one small bit of feedback for you. As a person who was sitting right here, I could see that your legs are constantly doing this weird up and down sideways motion that might not be visible to anyone sitting on that side. The problem with that is for us who are sitting here is extremely distracting. And if you're going to be the president, it will be even worse, right? So I think you should really focus on just holding your ground. With that, a round of applause for the speaker and the evaluator. Our final evaluation was for the table topic session, which will be conducted by Toastmaster Latha. Please give it to her.
General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, esteemed guest, and to my target speaker, Toastmaster Sakshi. We had a table topic session wherein she was attempting her project in the form of table topics. Now, what went good was very interesting topics. Totally, there were 10 topics which were given. Very interesting, humorous, that people can speak because of the amount. We can see the timing with that when people attempted more than 1 minute. People could understand it well. So this was really good. You gave the right topics to the right speakers for the right reasons. Because you know, if you give this topic to this particular person, they can speak. So you knew it very well. That was a good part. I would say that the response was really good. You summarized after every topic which was given to you, but other than the second one. For the second speaker, you did not summarize it, just finished with one word. The summarization could have been much better because this project depends completely on how good you are as an active listener. Once your speaker comes behind the lectern, whatever they are speaking on the topic, how do you come back here and summarize it? That was the whole project all about. So you could have summarized it more better because since you are attempting a project just not a table topic session, it's something on a pathway, so the summarization could have been more better. So voice modulation, I was expecting here because voice modulation is very important to grab the audience attention. So this grabs your attention. For you, it was sometimes too high, sometimes just very flat. So the topics is so interesting that if you stressed on certain words over there, it would have grabbed the attention for more longer time. This is one. Your body language and facial expressions were going a little against with the choice of the words what you were coming with. Because you're usually very good behind the lectern. When you were coming here and summarizing, I could see your body language and the choice of words. Your verbal and non-verbal communication was not matching with each other. I would say that you prepared well, but you were not that very well prepared today. Because I understand this is somewhere impromptu what you have to do. Because you don't know who's going to come to the meeting, who's not going to come to the meeting. And you have to choose the right person for the right topics. And what do they speak? Someone can come behind the lectern for 15 seconds, speak, or just stand still and go back. Someone who will take more than 2 minutes. So I understand that. But your preparation for all the scenarios should have been better. You were good, but I was expecting something more higher from a person like you. Overall, a good attempt. Need to work on your body language, or I would say verbal and non-verbal communication, and the summarization part could have been much better, which would have taken this your attempt to a much higher level, keeping in mind the kind of speaker you are behind it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Latha, for your evaluation. To add to what she said, Toastmaster Sakshi, I thought some of your transitions were actually spot on. You didn't need to say much if you got what was there from the other side. For example, after Toastmaster Jyothi's response, I thought your comeback to that was perfect. You summarized it in exactly one sentence. You did not need to say more than that. She said, shopping gets your heart racing. That's exactly what you said and finished it, because that is the exact thing you needed to say. But I saw you really struggle with some of the others. Sometimes that strategy can work, sometimes that strategy doesn't. So you'll have to figure out that balance. Anyways, good attempt. I thought your topics were really on point. It really pushed people beyond the edge to think. Good job overall. Let's give a round of applause to the table topping master and the evaluator. I think that is my evaluation for you as well. Let's now head into the TAPG role takers. I'd like to give a round of appreciation to each of the TAPG role takers today already, because the way they introduced themselves today, if you saw, did not dilute from the quality of the role itself, but they gave a quick and brief introduction that made a lot of sense for all four of them. So let's start with our Grammarian Toastmaster Aparna.
Mr. Toastmasters and dear guests. So today, the expression, the words, usage of the language was pretty fantastic. Also, in my experience, I'm seeing we have amazing orator, amazing people who use the language, the vocabulary so beautifully, like Chethan, Madhu, Shreedevi, and everybody has some or other word to use which we all can take away. I definitely take away, like today I learned a new word Shreya said, and that was clumsy. I never knew about that word before, right? So they were amazing usage. I will just say certain words which have been used, and if you are interested, you can just check in the book which I have made a detailed note. Act with courage, filled with goosebumps. Mark Twain's quote was quoted today. Grueling, into war machine, fertile plant, multi-utility monster truck, dwindled, script has flipped, singular focus, framework, fast-paced, actualizing, one who does a daydreaming, embark, imposter syndrome, evolutionary psychology, dwindled, culmination, and hit personal chord. So, good job. I think as a team we are really progressing into using a good and great language. Thank you and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aparna. Let's hear from our half-member Toastmaster Darshan.
So firstly, coming to those who were flawless in today's meetings, Toastmaster Apoorva, Toastmaster Madhu, Toastmaster Ajay, Toastmaster Latha, DTM Toastmaster M U Bhat, Toastmaster Aadhiswar, Distinguished Toastmaster A K Prabhakara, Toastmaster Veerabadrappa, and Toastmaster Aparna. Toastmaster Jyothi and Toastmaster Deepa had 3 hours. Toastmaster Shreedevi, Toastmaster Shreya, Toastmaster Chethan, Toastmaster Malegiri had 5 hours. Toastmaster Midhun had more than 5 hours and your repeated word was so. Toastmaster Shuba had more than 5 hours. Toastmaster Chakravarty had 4 hours and your repeated word was so you know. Toastmaster Sakshi had 5 hours and your repeated word was so. And that concludes my hour report. And back to you, Chakravarty.
Thank you, Toastmaster Darshan. Let's hear from our timer, Toastmaster Deepa.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, here are the timer report. Welcome by Sergeant at Arms. Allotted time was 2 minutes. Time taken was 3 minutes 5 seconds. President address. Allotted time was 5 minutes. Time taken was 6 minutes 30 seconds. And individual speakers I have written on the board. And evaluators, Toastmaster Shreedevi. Allotted time was 2 to 3 minutes. Time taken was 2 minutes 13 seconds. Toastmaster Ujwal. Time taken was 3 minutes 49 seconds. Toastmaster Shreya 3 minutes 23 seconds. And table topic individual table topic speakers I have written on the board. And back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Deepa. Finally, from our Parliamentary Procedure Evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster M U Bhat.
Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. As usual, we have been able to maintain the highest standards of meeting in today also. There was no one talked about sex, politics and religion, no telephones ringing anywhere. There were 4-5 entries during the only when the applause was there and not otherwise. And there was I couldn't observe any cross-talk or gossiping. Excellent performance. I think let's keep it that way. With that, congratulations to ourselves and back to General Evaluator.
Thank you to the entire TAPG team. Let's give them a round of applause. Okay, finally, I think we have only one person left. That's our Master Ceremonies, Toastmaster Madhu. Nice to have you back after I don't know how long. This is exactly the kind of sporty theme I love to listen to. Your stories are generally come from the sporting world. And I have witnessed a lot of the games that you speak about as well. I had not seen this particular one, but this was a wonderful story. So great job on picking a wonderful theme and finding the right story to collaborate with it. Having said that, I would like to give you 2 pieces of feedback that could really help improve this entire thing. The first one was to do with your connection with Ralph's spending. You said he took a shot. The problem is he didn't take one shot. He had to take shots for nearly 20 years. Right? It wasn't, he didn't do it once in 1924. He failed for 20 years before it became a success. So that's a very different kind of shot we're describing here. Second, as a person who's sitting next to you on that side, I feel like your phone is right in the way of the speaker that I'm seeing. So that becomes a distraction for me. And if the speaker is here and they're speaking and they have given you the respect to listen, I think you need to give them the same level of respect as well. So looking at the phone is extremely distracting for a person who is speaking, right? Having said that, your speech itself was extraordinary. The hype you gave each speaker before they came to the lectern was excellent. The energy that you brought to the room was also excellent. So a thunderous round of applause. That I think I have evaluated everybody. Please cast your votes in the ballot and let's give it back to the president. Oh, sorry, back to the MC.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chethan. I think every meeting is a culmination of whatever happens because people step forward and they take a shot. And this meeting was no other exception. So thank you for this. And now I hand the charge back to our President, Toastmaster Apoorva.
Since we are running out of time, I request everybody to quickly cast your votes. I've got very few responses. I would like to end by saying that what a wonderful meeting this was. We had an amazing theme by our Toastmaster of the day. Then we witnessed some of the beautiful speeches today, some innovative speeches which were very good. And also we also witnessed our energetic table topic session by Toastmaster Sakshi, and insightful yet Toastmaster Chethan's eye for detail is something which is like the kind of tips he says is something that you can actually work on. So, and it's very enlightening to listen to it. So, a great job by Toastmaster Chethan as well. Let me quickly get into the results. Even though very few people. Okay. So, the best table topic speaker is DTM A K Prabhakara. The best MTEG role taker is Toastmaster Madhu. Best TAPG role taker is our counter for the day, Toastmaster Darshan. The best evaluator is Toastmaster Shreedevi. The best speaker is Toastmaster Ajay. With that, we come to the end of meeting number 1373.